Okay, hello students, how are you? Today our lesson is cell notation. Yes, cell notation. How can cell notation means what? It is a systematic representation of what? Of cell without using diagram. Without using diagram, which one is anode, which one is cathode? To identify this, we have to use cell notation. In cell notation, don't forget this very important point. Always write the anode. Write the anode and slash the anode electrolyte and vertical line. You know that, students, vertical line means it is salt bridge, and cathode electrolyte, this is the 4. This is the 4. Here already the notice part, the slash represents what? It is the anode metal, and the electrolyte of the anode should be, it is separated, and the double arrow represents salt bridge. You know that what is salt bridge means. For example, here the Daniell cell can be represented. You know that Daniell cell, in Daniell cell, zinc metal is immersed in zinc sulfate solution, whereas the copper metal as cathode immersed in copper sulfate solution. And without using the diagram, the cell notation for Daniell cell will be this. From this, what can understand? Zinc acts as what? As anode, whereas copper acts as what? As cathode. Next, important points in reduction potential value. In reduction potential, students, you have this table on your textbook, you can refer, but I need to explain very important points about the reduction potential values. In reduction potential values, always you should read the half cell reaction from left to right as what form? As reduction form. All are in reduction form. What does it mean? Here, all are reduction. F2 from 0 state to -1 state. Copper +2 to 0 state. You can refer your textbook, or you can use this slide. All equations from left to right, they are written in what form? In reduction form. This is very important. The other one is what? Always in galvanic cell, the one with less reduction potential value, it acts as what? As anode, whereas the higher reduction potential represents what? The metal or rod acts as what? As cathode. For example, in Daniell cell, here in Daniell cell, we have zinc and copper. The chemical reactivity of zinc and copper, zinc is greater than copper, that is why zinc acts as anode, and copper is what? It is as cathode. These are important points. The other one, it is the more positive reduction. The metals near to the top series are strongly electropositive. What does it mean? The more positive reduction potential, they have greater tendency to be what? To be reduced. What does it mean? For example, take this table. F2, by gaining 2 electrons, it changes into F minus. The reduction value is 2.87. It is the highest of all. You can refer all are what? From the all, it is the highest of all is, it is for fluorine. What does it mean? Fluorine has the highest reduction potential value, implies what? It is the most what? Oxidizing agent, and it can easily get reduced. The other point, from all, the least value is what? It is lithium. The reduction value of lithium from +1 to lithium is, it is -3.05. It is the least reduction potential value, implies what? It is the most reducing agent, and it means what? It can easily get what? Oxidized. These points are very important. And the other one is what? It is intensive property. Intensive. When you multiply the half reduction, it doesn't change the value because intensive. And the other one, when you reverse the equation, just convert only what? Only the sign. For instance, the reduction of lithium, how much is it? It is -3.05. When you reverse this equation from lithium to lithium plus, the sign of negative is changed to what? To plus. This implies what? When you reverse the equation, always multiply the half cell reaction, means reduction potential value, by minus. The next important point is E of cell. How can you calculate E of cell from the reduction potential value? Here we have the equations. E of cell can be given as E of reduction at cathode minus E of reduction at anode, or you can use these two equations. Don't forget, students, E of oxidation at anode always is equal to what? E naught of reduction at anode. Here we have example. Here in galvanic cell, the values are given for anode, magnesium to magnesium 2 plus, E of reduction is 2.37. It is not reduction. Sometimes the standard, already I told you, it is in reduction value. but sometimes you may give what? It is oxidation. Magnesium is oxidized here, and silver from plus to 0 means it is reduction. So how can you calculate? The formula here it is what? E of cell can be calculated by E of reduction at cathode minus E of reduction at anode. But we don't have E of reduction at anode. Rather, what is given? E of oxidation at anode. In this case, you can use what? You can use this, the second formula. E of reduction at cathode, how much is it? 0.8 plus E of oxidation at anode, how much is it? It is 2.37. The sum of the two it gives 3.17. Or the second approach, the same question where reduction potential is given. In the previous, for magnesium, oxidation is given. Here it is reduction from plus 2 to what? To 0. In this case, how can you solve? How can you solve here? Mg is given. It is reduction from plus 2 to 0. Already this one is reduction. The reduction values are given. But the formula is E of cell is equal to E of reduction at cathode minus E of reduction at anode. This is equal to E of reduction at cathode. How much is it? E of reduction at cathode. We know that silver is cathode. Therefore, reduction is 0.8 volt. Minus, open the bracket, E of reduction at anode. The relation between E of reduction at anode and E of oxidation at anode, one is the reverse of the other. In oxidation part, what is given? It is positive, but the reduction is negative. So here, negative 2.37 volt. Together, minus minus plus, it is 0.8 volt plus 2.37 volt. You will get what? The same answer, which is 317 volt. So sometimes you may have reduction values, sometimes you may have what? You may have oxidation. So you can use these two approach. In different concept, in different approach, we get the same result, 3.17. Here also it is 3.17. This is how to calculate. It is based on their nature of electrolyte, and the second one is based on their rechargeable or non-rechargeable, based on their rechargeability. So based on electrolyte, batteries can be classified into what? The first classification is based on their electrolytes, and the second one is it is based on their rechargeability. So based on their electrolyte, batteries can be classified into what and what? To wet and dry cell. What are wet cells? Wet cells are batteries that have their electrolyte in what form? In solution form. In solution. Dry cell, they have what? They have their electrolyte in paste form. For example, if you take car battery is example of what? Wet. Why? Because in car batteries, the electrolyte is sulfuric acid, H2SO4 in solution form. But paste means what? For example, if you take mobile cell አሁን ብትከፍቱት ውስጡ የሚፈስ ነገር የለውም. It is not in solution form, yes. Rather, the electrolyte is in paste form. So it is example of dry cell. We can list some examples. For wet, Daniell cell, and best example is car battery. Or car battery also sometimes it is known as lead storage battery. Why it is lead storage battery? Because car battery involves lead as what? As anode. That is why it is known as lead storage, or car battery is example of wet. Daniell cell also it is example of what? Wet. When you come to under dry cell, it can be primary or secondary cell, any galvanic cell which have their electrolyte in paste form, they are known as dry cell. Example, zinc carbon. Another example, mobile cell. Yes, you can get like this. The second classification is based on rechargeability. We have here in paste whether it is primary or secondary. Those batteries which can be what? Recharged again and on a secondary cell. But if they are use and throw, for example, the common this dry cell battery, zinc carbon cell or Lange cell, it is example of primary. Why it is primary? because it is once the chemical reaction inside the cell has completed, it cannot deliver what? Energy. It cannot recharge again and again. Those types of batteries are known as what? They are known as primary cell. Secondary example, car battery. Example what? It is mobile cell, for example. Mobile cell example of secondary, because we can what? Recharge again and again. This is a classification of cell, just to remind you. ጥያቄ ካላችሁ ጠይቁ። ኦኬ ጥያቄ ያላችሁ እዚህ ላይ? Any question?
የለንም ሚስተር።
እሺ so we start this one። ትንሽ መብራት ጠፍቶ አስቸግሮ ነው ያመጣሁትን ፋይል እስቲ መብራት ጠፍቶ ያመጣሁትን ዶክመንት ላሳያችሁ ስላልቻልኩ ነው። anyhow just ጥያቄ ካላችሁ ጠይቁኝ። ወይ ሐሙስ እንቀጥላለን ማለት ነው። መብራት የለም እዚህ። ይሄም ቻርጁ እያለቀ ነው። ከዚህ ላይ ጥያቄ ያላችሁ? የዛሬው ፖሊመር ነው። እንትኑ ደግሞ በፍላሽ ያመጣሁት እንትን ማግኘት አልተቻለም ማለት መብራት ስለጠፋ ማለት ነው። ከዚህ ከባለፈው ጥያቄ ካላችሁ ጠይቁኝ። ከሌለ አንዳንድ ፖይንቶችን ፖሊመር ላይ እላችኋለሁ እንደዚህ። Okay, it is unit 6 is about polymer. What is polymer? Biology ላይ ታውቃላችሁ ይሄን already you have learned it in grade 11 of your biologies about particularly natural polymers. What is polymer? Yes? Is it micromolecule or macromolecule?
Macro.
It is macro, yes? Nice. Macromolecule. Macromolecule means it is largest. Micromolecule is here. So here we have monomer and polymer. Yes? Monomer and polymer. Monomer means what? It is a single unit. So polymer, how can you define polymer? It is a compound with what? With having large number of what? Large number of monomers inside it. Polymer. So here a single unit, it is known as monomer. Monomer. Here polymer. Poly means what? Poly means many, yes? Mono means what? It is unit. So a single unit of polymer, it is known as, it is monomer, and a collection of monomer, it is known as what? It is known as polymer. For example, if you take a building, huge building, yes? And if you take, what is the monomer unit for huge building? Who can answer this? For any huge building, it has a single unit, yes? What is it? Yes? What do you think? For any huge building, what is single unit? It is what? It is a single blockade, yes? A single blockade, a collection of blockades, it gives what? A building, yes? So a building can be considered as what? As a polymer, yes? It is large, it is macromolecule, yes? Means just it is as a comparison, you can use this. Any huge building can be considered as polymer, but a single unit, a single blockade can be considered as what? As monomer. The same is true for polymer. For example, if you take polyethylene, yes? Polyethylene. What is ethylene first? What is ethylene? What is ethylene? Ethylene is hydrocarbon, but particular is it alkane, alkene, or alkyne? Ethylene, propylene, butylene. Did you remember this?
Alkene.
Alkene, wonderful. It is alkene with single bond, double or triple? Alkene, EN is what? Single, double or triple bond?
Double.
Double bond, nice. So ethylene ስንት ካርበን ነው ያለው? ኢዩኤል ነው ዳኒ ነው? It is እሺ ዳኒ, how many carbon is contains ethylene? ሁለት አይደል እንዴ? It means two. It is CH2 double bond CH2. It is ethylene, or it is also known as ethylene is common name is. Its IUPAC name is what? Ethene. Yes, ethene is IUPAC name, and ethylene is common. So this one is polyethylene. ስንወስድ down ምንድን ነው ማለት ነው? Polyethylene. Polyethylene is example of polymer, and it is formed from. Speakerun please mute አድርጉት. Speakerun mute አድርጉት. Okay, polyethylene is, it is example of what? Polymer. Why it is polymer? Because here a single unit, the monomer is ethylene. Here always this double bond is what? It is elevated, yes, or cleavated. The bond should be, it is broken down, yes. Now in this case, this CH2 double bond CH2, n moles of this, it gives what? When this bond is cleavated or broke down, what will happen? This carbon has active site, which means it has one free electron. Again, this carbon also has one free electron, because as you know, before means in the hydrocarbon, you know that between two carbons to form this double bond, pair of electrons should be what? It is shared. Now, only when this single bond is broken down, what will happen? This carbon has active site, and this carbon also has active site. It needs what? To add another carbon. Yes? Now, in this case, here n moles of this becomes what? CH2. So on this active site, it will what? It will add another. For example, this one is 1 mole of this monomer, which is ethylene. Yes? If we have another 1 mole, this carbon adds what? Another carbon here is እዚህ ላይ አድ ያደርጋል። ይሄኛው another carbon ያደርጋል። double bond ሲሰበርስ ይሄም አድ ያደርጋል። ስለዚህ ምን ይኖራል ማለት ነው? We have n moles of what? This monomer. We have n moles of this monomer becomes what? This is monomer. It is a single unit, and this becomes what? Polymer. Particularly, this one is ethylene, and this is what? It is polyethylene. Therefore, polymers are macromolecules which are formed by what? By using monomers. This is the definition of what? This is the definition of polymer. Is it clear? We have also another, polypropylene, for example. Another example, polypropylene. Polypropylene is, it is a macromolecule which is formed from propylene. Propylene has how many carbon? 3 carbons, C, and here it is double bond, and here it is 2H. This has 1H, and this has 3H. Now, n moles of this, it gives what? It gives polypropylene. You can refer your textbook, yes? On your textbook, there are examples of different macromolecules as polymer, which means polyethylene, polypropylene. N moles of this, it gives what? It gives this polypropylene. Now, from this, what can you understand? Here we have 2 types of polymerization. Yes? We have 2 types of polymerization: addition polymerization and condensation polymerization. What is addition polymerization and polymerization? Polymerization is what? It is the process by which what?
it is the way of forming or getting what? Polymerase. Polymerization. This polymerization, it can be what? It can be addition polymerization, or it can be condensation. Students, I hope you remember the addition reaction is. Addition reaction is what? It is the common reaction for saturated or unsaturated hydrocarbon. Who can answer this? Addition, is it common reaction for what? Yes? Addition is, it is common reaction for what? For unsaturated is. Unsaturated means for ENE and for what? For YNE, which means for double bond and triple bond. But particularly here in polymerization, using addition polymerization, we use what? We use addition reaction of what? It is alkenes. Here in addition reaction, what is going on? The double bond is, it is cleavated or it's broken down. Yes, as you have seen before, in ethylene, CH2, in addition reaction, what's going on? ይሄኛው bond ነው የሚሰበረው. This bond always, it is what? It is broken down. As the result of the breaking down of this bond, what will happen? These two carbons have what? Active site. So what will happen after the breaking down of this bond? This is known as addition polymerization. This carbon will add what? Another carbon. This carbon also add another carbon. We have also another monomerase, this ethylene. Again, when you break this, this carbon has free electron, this carbon has free electron. By using their free site, they will what? Attach together. ልክ እንደዚሁ ምን እየሆነ ይሄዳል ማለት ነው። When you use n moles, n maybe in 10,000, n maybe in millions, is according to the nature of the polymer. So we can form what? We can form huge molecule known as polymer. It is polyethylene or polypropylene accordingly. So this is what you call addition polymerization. The second one is condensation. Condensation. Now, in condensation, there is no the breaking down of the double bond. Rather, in condensation, some part of the molecule will be removed. Best example here, esterification reaction. Esterification, just like esterification, condensation reaction, best example is esterification. Here, for example, take esterification. I hope you know it is the reaction between what and what? Carboxylic acid and alcohol. RCOOH plus R prime OH. Now, in this reaction, in esterification reaction, what's going on? OH should be removed from this, and H must be removed from the alcohol. When these two come together, OH, because when OH is removed from this, O has active site, free electron, and when H is removed from this, again O of alcohol has free electron. Now, by using their active sites, RCO and OR prime will join each other. And what is formed? RCO from the acid and OR prime from alcohol. This is alcohol part and this one is acid part. And what is formed as the result of esterification? Ester is formed plus OH and H together as byproduct, it gives what? Water. So the basic difference between addition polymerization, this one is for addition polymerization, for addition and for condensation. In condensation, there is what? Removal of some part of the molecule from the monomer units. But here there is no removal. Just by breaking down of the double bond, what is formed? The polymer is formed. There is no byproduct. There is no byproduct here. Only what is formed as the result of the breaking down of the bond, it is polymer. But in condensation, there is the removal of some part of the molecule, like what? Like water. So here we have how many types of polymerization? We have two types: condensation and addition. These two are very important in order to form what? The huge molecules or macromolecules known as it is polymer. Is it clear? Again, here in condensation, not in addition. For addition, a single unit. We have single unit, yes, a single monomer. For example, in polyethylene, we have ethylene as monomer. In polypropylene, we have what? We have propylene as what? As a single monomer. In that case, there is no doubt, there is no problem, yes, in what? In addition. But in condensation polymerization, here, the nature of the monomer may be homopolymer and heteropolymer. Yes? We may have the polymer can be classified into homo and hetero. Homopolymer means what? If the polymer is formed from what? From the same unit, from the same monomers. For example, polyethylene. Polyethylene, it is formed from what? From ethylene. Yes? Now, these types of polymer, it is known as homo. This hetero, or it is known as copolymer. Copolymer. On your textbook, this word is given, copolymer. Copolymer means it is the coordination of different, yes? Maybe ethylene and propylene. Yes? The monomer, maybe what? Here, example, ethylene, CH2, double bond, CH2, and propylene, CH3, CH2, CH, and CH2. Now, these two can be used as what? As monomer units. Now, that is why we call this as homopolymer, because we have only a single unit ethylene. We may have propylene, we may have anything which is the same unit, yes, this a single monomer. But in hetero or copolymer, we may have what? Two or more than. Most of the time, it is two different types of monomer. Just like here we have ethylene and propylene. Now, in this case, for copolymer, we may have what? The arrangement of this copolymer, it can be random. Yes, it can be in random fashion or irregular. Yes, therefore, the polymer can be classified, particularly for which? For copolymer. Copolymer can be classified into regular and random. What does it mean? Regular and random. You can refer students your textbook. For example, regular means what? When the arrangement is in regular fashion. For example, A, B, A, B, A, B, etc. This is known as regular fashion. So it is known as regular copolymer. Copolymer means heteropolymer, which is formed from different units. In random, the AB means the arrangement is what? Is regular. First A, then B, where A and B are what? Different units, just like the previous one, ethylene and propylene. So this is known as regular. But if it is A, B, A, B, B, A, here there is no regular arrangement. This is known as random copolymer. Random copolymer. Now, ጥያቄ ካላችሁ ጠይቁኝ. If you have any question, please, you can ask us. Okay. Now, here, how can we calculate the macromolecule? ማሱን ልትጠየቁ ትችላላችሁ. Please calculate the molecular mass of the polymer by using this amount, if you are asked, or how many moles of the polymer, the monomer is used to form this amount of macromolecule. ለምሳሌ example, it is calculating the molecular mass. The molecular mass of the polymer, or determining n value. n እንዴት ነው የምንሰራው? For example, take the polyethylene. First, the monomer is ethylene. CH2, CH2. What is the molecular mass? The molecular mass of CH2, CH2. You know that carbon is 12, 12 plus 12, 24. And there are how many? The molecular mass is 28 gram per mole. Now, students, please calculate the molecular mass of the polymer which is formed from the monomer unit from ethylene, provided that n value, it may be 100. First, write the formula. CH2, double bond, CH2, here, n how much is it? It is 100. N is 100 mole. And after the breaking down of the bond, here, in forming polymer, there is no double bond, yes? This already it is broken down. And here we have 2H, 2H, and already we know that n value, how much is it? It is 100. The question is, calculate the molecular mass of the polymer. Who can answer this? Man will listen. Naomi? How can you calculate? How can you calculate the molecular mass? Provided that what is given? N, it is 100, maybe 10,000, it may be 1,000, don't worry about this one is as example, let it be N is 100. And the monomer unit is, it is ethylene, and its molecular mass is 28 gram per mole. The question is, calculate the molecular mass of the polymer, which is polyethylene. ስንት ነው ማሱ የሚሆነው? ዳኒ መልሷ በእምነት ሀብታሙ፣ ዳኒ፣ ናኦሚ ብሌን፣ ሜሮን okay. Now, as you can see from this, what is given? N value is given 100. For example, as just as example, yes, it can be any number. It is especially N value must be, it is what it is huge, yes, it may be 10,000, it may be 100,000, etc. But as example, take N values 100, and from this, what is given? The monomer unit is, it is ethylene, and it is 28 gram per mole. Just multiplying this. This polyethylene is what? It is combination of what? It is a combination, or it is a collection of what? This monomer is. So for a single, if it is 28, here we use N is 100. Just you can multiply 28 times what? 28 times 100, it is 2,800 gram. It is simple, yes? It is simple. Or sometimes you may given that the polymer, for example, the polymer for the previous one, if it is the molecular mass of polymer, if it is 28,000, how much is it? N value, when you are asked. In this calculation, we have two approaches. One is what? Solving the molecular mass, one. Even we may have three approaches. Solving the molecular mass of the polymer. Second, calculating N value. Third, calculating the molecular mass of the monomer. Now here, what is given? The polymer molecular mass is 28,000. Calculate N value. What is given here in the previous? For CH2, CH2, how much is it? It's molecular mass is 28 gram per mole. So in order to get a polymer which is formed from this ethylene, from the monomer unit with molecular mass 28 gram per mole, how many moles of this ethylene is required in order to produce 28,000 gram? How much is it N? N isn't here alone. Yes? Bilen. Yes, sir, Rasu Ingerish. Any students? Damnat Viniam? Meron? Tembita? Meluson?
Mr. ጥያቄ ይደገም
ጥያቄው እሺ ቅድማውን የሰራነውን አይተናል አይደል እንዴ የቅድሙ ምን ነበር the peer in polymerization particularly in homopolymer we have a single monomerase the same type is for example polyethylene የሚለው ላይ ምን ወሰድን a single unit monomerase it is CH2 which is ethylene from this ethylene what is formed polyethylene is formed now for n value by using 100 moles of this ethylene how many gram of polyethylene is formed ነው ይቀድሙ ስለዚህ ምን እናደርጋለን a single unit is it is 28 gram per mole why because there are two carbons 12 plus 12 24 there are 4 hydrogens plus 4 24 plus 4 28 ነው a single ማለት ነው ስለዚህ የፖሊኢቲሊኑን ለማግኘት ምንድነው የምናደርገው this polyethylene is formed by using 100 moles of this ethylene so just multiply 100 times 28 it is 2800 this is the previous one the second one is what a polymer with molecular mass 28000 yes and the monomer a single unit or it is the same it is 28 gram per mole how many mole is required calculate for n how much is it this is the question clear now
1000 no mister
yes
1000
excellent just ምን እናደርጋለን ይሄንን ለእንትኑ ማከፈል አይደል እንዴ yes n value will be what it is the molecular mass of the polymer it is 28000 divided by a single unit 28 ይሄ ይጠፋል n value how much is it it is 1000 mole of ethylene is required in order to produce 28000 እንላለን ማለት አንዳንድ ጊዜ ደግሞ ጥያቄው ምን ሊሆን ይችላል ሶስት አይነት አማራጭ ነው ያለን ቅድም ምን አደረግን የሲንግል ዩኒቱ ማስ ተሰጠን n ተሰጠን ሞለኪውላር ማስ ፈለግን ሁለተኛውስ n how much is it by giving what a single unit and the molecular mass of the polymer the third one is what n value 10000 n value is 10000 and the molecular mass of the polymer will be it is 218000 for sake of calculation የቅድሙን እንጠቀሙ ኮንሰፕቱ አንድ ነው 218000 then what is the mass of the monomer mass how much is it ስለዚህ ይሄንን መስራት yes yes ማን ነው የመለሰ ያለው ናዊ
28 ነው ሚስተር
28 አው የቅድሙ ነው ኤግዛምፕሉ ምን ማድረግ ነው 280 ሺህ ለስንት ማካፈል ለ10 ሺህ ማካፈልስ ስለዚህ እነኚህ ናቸው ያሉት አፕሮች በሶስቱም ጥያቄ ካላችሁ ኖቱን እንግዲህ ልክላችኋለሁ እንዳልኳችሁ መብራት ጠፍቶ ነው እዚህ የዚህ ኖት ልከዋለሁ ቴሌግራም ላይ ለዚህ ኔክስት እንቀጥላለን ጥያቄ ካላችሁ ኔክስት ዲቴል ኖቱን ይዘን እናየዋለን ለዛሬ በቃናል ጥያቄ ካላችሁ any question if you have ጥያቄ ካለ ዳኒ
የለኝም ሚስተር
ሁላችሁም በቃ ኔክስት እንቀጥላለን ዲቴል ኖቱን ይዤ ኔክስት ተርስዴይ እንቀጥላለን በሰዓቱ ተገኙ እሺ ኦኬ ቻው በቃ ሰላም ባይ ፎር ቱዴይ Good afternoon class. ይሰማል?
አይሰማም።
ይሰማል? እሺ። እንዴት ናችሁ? በቀደም ስንተኛው ጥያቄ ላይ ነበር የቆምነው? ከዛው እንቀጥላለን። I think we have seen number 6 and yes we are on number 7 ሰባተኛው ላይ ነው. For the following reaction all of the reactants and products are in their standard state or standard condition which means 1 molar concentration. Which one of the following statement must be true for the given equation? ይታያል አይደል እዚህ ጋር ስላይዱ?
ሚስተር
እሺ So which one of the following is true about this reaction? Already the reaction is given. Here the reaction would be product favored as written ilan. Delta G for the reaction as written is positive. Zinc is undergoing reduction all ilan. አሁን አንድ ባንድ ስናየው the reduction would be product favored. ይሄን ተውት ለምሳሌ B ላይ ነው. Delta G for the reaction as written is positive ilan ለምሳሌ. Now students I hope you remember for galvanic cell. Galvanic cell ምንድነው ተባብለናል? It is spontaneous or non-spontaneous redox reactions takes place in galvanic. Spontaneous or non-spontaneous. What is E value? Here discuss again. E value must be positive and the redox reaction must be what? It is spontaneous. ስለዚህ to be spontaneous E value must be positive. ስለዚህ ኤያችን ምንድነች? ፖዚቲቭ ነች 0.6 volt which is positive. So for any galvanic cell to be spontaneous delta G value must be negative. አይደል? ስለዚህ B እውነት አይደለም ማለት ነው. delta G must be negative and delta G must be negative and E of cell must be positive ተባብለናል. ስለዚህ B መልስ መሆን አይችልም. When you come to C Zinc is undergoing reduction. Zinc from reactant from solid state it converted into what? ZnBr2. In ZnBr2 zinc bromide students you know that bromide is -1 አይደል? ስለዚህ zinc ስንት ነው ፕሮዳክቱ ላይ? It is +2 አይደል? ሁለቱ ብሮሚን -2 ስለሆኑ to be 0 zinc must be +2. So from 0 because zinc in the reactant side is it is free element. So from zinc 0 state to +2 means it is oxidation. It is not reduction. ስለዚህ C አሰት ነው መልሱ ምን ይሆናል ማለት ነው? A ነው. the reaction would be product favored as written, because always for E of cell product is favored. Otherwise, product favored ካላደረገ ምንድነው ማለት ነው? ሴሉ ኤሌክትሪካል ኤነርጂ ፕሮዲዩስ ማድረግ አይችልም። ስለዚህ መልሳችን ምን ይሆናል ማለት ነው? it will be A. Is it clear? Clear? Yes. Is it clear?
ስተርን አልገባኝ።
ስንተኛው?
አሁን ሰባተኛው።
እሺ ሰባተኛው ምን ይላል? which one of the following is true about this reaction ይላል። አሁን ኤን ተውት፣ ቆይ እንመለሳለን። ቢ ላይ ስንመጣ delta G value is positive ይላል። always for any galvanic cell, the reaction is for galvanic cell. Always for galvanic cell, the process is a spontaneous redox reaction happens in any galvanic cell. That is why to be spontaneous, yesterday or on Monday, we have seen how to calculate E of cell value and how can you predict whether it is spontaneous or non-spontaneous. E of cell is positive. It is 0.366. It is positive. Therefore, it is spontaneous normally. To be spontaneous, delta G value always must be what? It is negative. Yes? For a spontaneous process, free Gibbs energy is negative. So that's the biaction ምንድነው ማለት ነው? False ነው ማለት ነው. Because it is positive slant. C, zinc undergoing reduction. Let's take zinc from the reactant side. From zinc to zinc bromide. Zinc in free state is 0. Zinc oxidation number of zinc is 0. What about the oxidation state of zinc bromide? Bromide, you know that it is -1. In binary compounds, all halogens, group 7 elements. Chlorine, bromine, fluorine, iodine, they are -1. ስለዚህ ሁለቱ ብሮሚን -2 ስለሚሆን ዚንክ ስንት መሆን አለበት? to be 0, the sum of the state of zinc and bromide should be 0. That is why zinc must be +2. So from 0 it turns to what? 2 + 2. What does it mean? It is oxidation or reduction? It is oxidation, yes, because in oxidation there is increasing in state. ስለዚህ ሲ መልስ አይደለም ማለት ነው። መልሳችን ምንድነው? ኤ ነው። always to be spontaneous process, the cell or the galvanic cell to deliver electrical energy, always it must be product favored. Product favored means what? The cell can generate what? Electrical energy. But if E value is negative, it is the reverse will be true. E of cell is negative ማለት ምንድነው ብያቸዋለሁ በቀደም። ተርሚናሎቹ ክሮስ ቼክ መደረግ አለባቸው ማለት ኢንተርቼንጀብል መሆን አለባቸው። ካቶድ እና አኖድ ትክክል አይደለም ማለት ነው። But in the correct setup of the formation of or the production of galvanic cell, always E of cell must be positive. E of cell is positive means delta G must be negative. ስለዚህ መልሱ A ይሆናል ማለት ነው። Is it clear? Yes. Number 8. The appropriate electrolyte in lead storage battery. This is simple. In lead storage battery, the electrolyte is what? Nitric acid, sulfuric acid, perchloric acid, nitrous acid. The answer is, it is sulfuric acid, H2SO4. That is why we can say what type of cell is it? Lead storage ማለት car battery ማለት ነው. Don't forget. Lead storage battery means it is car battery. Car battery, is it dry cell or it is example of wet cell? መልሱ። Is it wet cell or it is example of dry cell? Yes. Wet cell means what? If the electrolyte is in solution form. Dry cell means what? If our electrolyte in the given cell when it is in paste form. So sulfuric acid is aqueous. It is solution. So it is example of lead storage is example of wet secondary. Why we call this galvanic cell wet? Because its electrolyte is in solution form. Why we call this car battery or lead storage battery as secondary? Because it is rechargeable. Get to know? Number 9. The nature of car battery during operating and recharging. Most of you have missed this question. The nature of car battery during operating and recharging time, respectively, would be what? Always car battery during operating. Operating time means what? When it delivers electrical energy. Because the main advantage or the purpose of using car battery is to generate or to produce electrical energy, to get electrical energy from this cell. So during operating time, it can deliver electricity from the chemical reaction inside it. The redox reaction can deliver electrical energy. During recharging time ደግሞ ሌላ ነው የሚሆነው። ስለዚህ እዚህ ጋር አሁን during operating time means during delivering electrical energy, the cell acts as what? As galvanic or electrolytic. You know that galvanic can deliver what? Electricity from chemical reaction, and electrolytic can generate what? Chemical reaction using electricity. Therefore, the answer will be what? The answer will be? Tell me. Naomi, Danny, መልስ ውስጥ Jonathan?
What's wrong with you?
From? Yes? And now it is what? Operate ሲያደርግ ምን ማለት ነው? Electricity produce ሲያደርግ. During this case, it will be voltaic or galvanic cell. Because voltaic or galvanic cell can convert what? Chemical reaction to electrical. So operating time means it is galvanic or voltaic cell. During recharging, recharge ደግሞ ሲደረግ ምንድነው? By using car battery, garage ሄዶ charge ይደረጋል አይደል እንዴ? When the chemical reaction inside the car battery completely is consumed, the reaction should be regenerated again by using charging system. The charging system takes place using electricity. ስለዚህ በኤሌክትሪሲቲ chemical reaction ደግሞ produce ሲደረግ it will be what? The cell acts as what? As electrolytic. The answer will be D, voltaic and electrolytic respectively. Voltaic means for operating time during generating electricity, and during recharging time means when electrical energy generate chemical reaction. The answer will be D. ጥያቄ ያላችሁ እዚህ ላይ? So the answer will be D. ጥያቄ ከሌለ number 10. Which one of the following electrochemical cell is an example of secondary and dry cell? Electrochemical cell, under electrochemical cell we have what? Electrolytic and galvanic. Now, but here particularly we have galvanic cells. Which one is secondary and what? And dry. Secondary means it can be recharged again and again. Dry cell means what? When the electrolyte is in paste or in dry form. Take D, Daniel cell. Daniel cell is example of primary ends of primary weight. Lead storage is what? Car battery. Secondary weight. Zinc carbon means Lange cell. Lange cell, the ordinary cell. It is example of primary dry. The answer will be A, nickel cadmium. The answer is A. ግልጽ ነው? እሺ የመጨረሻው ፎን ሴል ነው የሚለው። ፎን ሴል ምንድነው? What type of cell is it? Phone cell is example of what? Primary or secondary? Is it example of wet or dry? Yes? No, amen? ቅዱስ ሞክሩ እስቲ። Phone cell is example of what? በእምነት Yes, please. Danny Mills. Yes, she.
Dry cell no, mister.
Dry cell no. Dry hono primary or secondary?
Primary.
Primary.
Mister.
Primary no ማለት ምን ማለት ነው? Use and throw ነው ማለት ነው then. ስለዚህ ፎን ሴል ደግሞ አይደለም አይደል እንዴ? ቻርጅ እናደርገዋለን። So it is secondary dry. Dry የምንለው ለምንድን ነው? ሶሉሽን የለውም ውስጡ። አሁን ፎን ሴል ብንቀጠንቅጠው ሶሉሽን የለውም ውስጡ። Dry cell ነው ማለት ነው። And it is recharged again and again. It is rechargeable cell. That is why it is secondary. ስለዚህ secondary dry ነው ማለት ነው ፎን ሴል። እሺ thank you. Next, identify the name of fused gases. This is simple. H2 and CO is what? H2 and CO is water gas. N2 and CO air gas, or it is known as producer gas. Particularly, it is known as producer gas. ብዙዎቻችሁ air gas ነው ያላችሁት. It is possible, but its typical name is producer gas. ጽፌዋለሁ ወርክሽታችሁ ላይ። Okay. Number 2, identify the anode and cathode in lead storage battery. Car battery, it is known as lead storage battery because it uses lead component as anode and cathode. Lead storage የምንለው ለዛ ነው። leadን ስለሚጠቀም ነው። The anode is lead metal and cathode is PbO2 ነው። PB metal and cathode is PbO2. ወደ ሌላኛው ወርክሽት ስንሄድ ሌላኛው ወርክሽት ደግሞ given the following reduction potential, the values are given, which reaction will occur spontaneously? አሁን ይሄን እንዴት ነው የምንሰራው? A of cell ፎርሙላ አለ። A of cell is equal to E naught of cell is equal to A of cell of reduction at cathode minus A of cell reduction at anode. By using this formula, we can calculate E value. Now, in which case we can say it is spontaneous when the value is positive. ስለዚህ አሁን ከተሰጣችሁ ውስጥ በዚህ በኢኩዌሽኑ መሰረት የእያንዳንዱን A of cell ሰርታችሁ ፖዚቲቭ የሚመጣውን ስፖንታኒየስ ነው ትላላችሁ ማለት ነው። ይከብዳል? You have any difficulty on this? Yes. እሺ ነምበር 2 በዚህ ነው መሰሩት እንትኑ አይልችኝም መጻፊያው ስቲኮ ለዛ ነው ነምበር 2 ስለዚህ ነምበር 1 ስሩት A of cell ፎርሙላውን ታውቃላችሁ A of cell is equal to A of reduction at cathode minus A of reduction anode. Do it, and if A of cell value is positive, it will be the answer. Check it. Number 2, which of the following statement is not true regarding the electrolysis of brine solution? What is brine means? What is brine? What is brine? Yes? Brine solution means brine. It is concentrated sodium chloride solution. Sodium chloride, particularly concentrated. Diluted sodium chloride solution, it is not brine. Brine is particularly concentrated sodium chloride solution. Now, which one of the following is not true about this? Brine solution synonym. Chlorine gas is produced at the anode. Hydrogen gas is formed at the cathode. Which is the answer? Yes. Now, basically, you know that during electrolysis process, positively charged ions, cations move towards what? Towards cathodes, and negatively charged ions or anions move towards what? Towards anode for discharging process. Discharging means to get zero status, either plus or minus sign charge የሆኑት ማለት ነው። እነኚህ ኤክስትራ ኤሌክትሮናቸውን ወይ እንትን ያደርጋሉ ሪሙቭ ያደርጋሉ ወይም ደግሞ ሉዝ ያደርጉትን መልሰው gain የማድረግ process ማለት ነው now here we have sodium chloride solution it is water is now particularly if it is sodium chloride fused or molten ቢሆን ምንድነው የሚሆነው we don't have another competent types yes in case of fused or molten sodium chloride Na plus ወዴት ይሄዳል ወደ ካቶድ and Cl minus የት ይሄዳል anode finished but here it is solution brine solution concentrated sodium chloride solution means we have Na plus and Cl minus from the salt again we have H plus and OH minus from water so there is competition for discharging yes now in this case the anode or the cathode preferentially discharge one ion in preferring to the other this situation it is known as preferential discharging means what selecting one ion in preferring to the other ማለት ስለዚህ ሁለት አዮኖች ነው የሚሄዱት አሁን ካቶድ ጋር ማን ነው የሚሄዱት Na plus and H plus at anode Cl minus and OH minus now ሁሉ ጊዜም ካቶድ ጋር በኤሌክትሮኬሚካል ሲሪስ በኮንሰንትሬሽን አፌክት አይደረግም as you know there are three factors the nature of electrode concentration of the ion and electrochemical series these three factors are very important yes to predict which ion is getting discharged at anode and at cathode to answer this question you have to remind these important points አሁን concentration matter የሚያደርገው ለማን ነው ለአኖድ ነው አሁን diluted sodium chloride ሲሆንና concentrated ሲሆን ፕሮዳክቱ ይለያያል if it is diluted OH minus get discharged at anode but when it is concentrated chlorine get discharged ስለዚህ አሁን እዚህ ጋር brine ስለሆነ concentrated ስለሆነ anode ጋር discharged የሚሆነው ማን ነው chlorine gas ነው don't forget cathode ጋር ካላችሁኝ ግን concentration affect አደረጉ in both diluted as well as concentrated sodium chloride solution we have common product always hydrogen gas get evolved at cathode in both cases እየሰማችሁ ነው in both cases for both diluted and concentrated hydrogen gas is evolved at cathode but when it is diluted and concentrated the product of anode is it is quite different when it is diluted ምን ማለት ነው more water አለን ማለት ነው ብዙ concentration ያለውን ነው prefer የሚያደርገው so during diluted sodium chloride solution OH gets discharged but when it is concentrated chlorine gas evolved having this information in mind now when it comes to the choice ምን ይላል chlorine gas is produced at the anode this is true B hydrogen gas is formed at the cathode true oxygen gas is produced at the anode after the electrolysis the remaining solution becomes basic ማንም ይመልስልኝ እስቲ who can answer this the answer either it is C or D false statement
D
yes B or C yes please አልሰማዎችም ድገሙልኝ is it B or C አሁን ይነገረኝ ማለት A እና B true ናቸው አይደል C that excellent C oxygen gas is produced at the anode ምን ቢሆን ነው diluted ቢሆን ነው right if it is diluted sodium chloride solution oxygen gas will produce yes but here since it is concentrated the answer is C D true ነው after the electrolysis the remaining solution becomes basic why ለምሳሌ አሁን ዲስቻርጅ የሆነውን እንይ ኢኒሺያሊ ምንድነው ብያቸዋለሁ ሶሉሽን ውስጥ ያለው we have Na plus and Cl minus from salt H plus and OH minus from decomposition of water solution ስለሆነ አራት አዮኖች ነበሩ ከአራቱ ሁለቱን አሁን ዲስቻርጅ የሆኑት ማናማ it is OH Cl minus and H plus so Cl minus እና H plus ስታወጡ ምን ይቀረናል ሶሉሽን ውስጥ Na plus
sodium hydroxide
OH ይቀራል it gives sodium hydroxide nice so D also it is true ነው ማለት ነው እሺ the answer will be C number 3 when does a spontaneous cell reaction occur? This is simple as ቅድምም ዲስከስ አድርገናል. When delta G value is less than 0, it is negative, and when A of cell is greater than 0. እነኚህ ሁለቱ ኢምፖርታንት ናቸው. The answer will be G, A and B for spontaneous. A and B. Delta G negative and A of cell always positive. Yes. Number 4. Number 4. Okay, number 4. Which of the following statement is true about E of reduction? E of reduction. ምን ይላል እዚህ ጋር? True የሆነው. The more positive the reduction potential, the higher the tendency to become an oxidizing agent. More positive ነው ማለት ምንድነው ተባብለናል? More ወይም value ትልቅ ነው ማለት እንደ ካቶር ነው አክት የሚያደርገው ብያቸዋል. To be anode oxidized ለመሆን ምን መሆን አለበት? E of cell, the reduction potential value must be least. ስለዚህ the more positive the reduction potential, the higher the tendency to become an oxidizing agent. ትልቅ positive value አለው ማለት reduced ነው የሚሆነው. Reduced substances are what? They are best oxidizing agent. So this is true statement. Yes? The more positive the reduction potential. ለምሳሌ E of reduction, one is negative 0.5. The second for X and Y if you are given, the second if it is one is negative 0.5 and the second is it is 1.5 ተብለን which one is best oxidizing, best reducing agent ብትባሉ ሁሉ ጊዜ ሊስቱ ምንድነው? best oxidized. Best oxidized substances are what? They are best reducing agent. The higher reduction potential value, it tells you what? It is the best oxidized reduced substance and it is best oxidizing agent. So this is correct. The more positive the reduction potential, the higher the tendency to become an oxidizing agent. ትልቅ አለው ማለት reduced ነው ማለት oxidizing agent. It is true. B. Its value does not affect as we change the stoichiometric coefficient of half reaction. ምን ተባብለናል? ወይም ፕሮፐርቲው ላይ E naught value is it what type of property? Is it intensive or extensive property? Yes, reduction potential value, is it spontaneous? Is it intensive or extensive property? በምን it is ትንቢተ መልሽ ኢንቴንሲቭ ነው አይደል ተባባልነው። ስለዚህ ኢንቴንሲቭ ነው ማለት stoichiometric coefficient doesn't affect the value intensive ስለሆነ ስለዚህ ቢ መልስ ነው። C, when you reverse a reduction half reaction, both the magnitude and sign of the reduction change. Yeah. When you reverse the reduction half reaction, only the sign is changed. The magnitude remains the same. A to A plus እና A plus to A ስንባል ምንድነው የሚሆነው ማለት ነው? Only the sign has to be changed, otherwise the magnitude value it remains the same. ብዙዎቻችሁ ሲ ነው ብላችሁ የመለሳችሁት ሁለት መልስ ነው ያለው። you are right, false በሚለው ነው። true ብላችሁ ነው እናንተ የሰራችሁት። አይ ቲንክ true የሚለውን false በሚለው ነው የሰራችሁት ወርክሺቱ ላይ። you are right because there are two answers. The answer for true A and B are true and C is false ይሆናል ማለት ነው። ጥያቄ ያላችሁ እስካሁን ባለው any question? Okay, ጥያቄ ከሌለ እንቀጥላለን። Next, an electrochemical cell constructed for the reaction is the standard reduction potential. ይሄን ወይ next እንሰራዋለን እንዳልኳችሁ ስቲክ አይለችኝም። ቲዮሪው ላይ ነው ፎከስ የምናደርገው ዛሬ ግን ቀላል ነው። ኦሬዲ ቲዮሬቲካሊ ዲስከስ ማድረግ እንችላለን። An electrochemical cell constructed for the reaction copper 2 plus and M, it gives copper plus M2 plus. E of cell is given. Yes? ስለዚህ E of cell እንዴት ነው ካልኩሌት የምናደርገው? E of cell is equal to E of reduction at cathode minus E of reduction at anode በሚለው መሰረት already E of cell is given and the reduction potential value of copper is given. From this, you will get the answer. I hope this is simple. Anyhow, next time. Number 6. Which one of the following conditions is not used to electroplate a spoon made of iron with silver? Here, I hope you remember very important point in electroplating. Electroplating ላይ ማስታወስ ያለባችሁ ፖይንቶች አሉ. 3 important points. One is what? In electroplating, which substance can be considered as anode, as cathode, and which substance can be considered as an electrolyte? These are very important. Electroplating means what? It is covering of metal by using another thin layer. For example, the purpose is what? Here to electroplate a metal or a spoon with what? With silver. A spoon made of iron with silver. So which one is plating metal here? Is it iron or silver? Yes, please. Which one is the plating metal and which one is the plated metal? INGCon, it is plating metal is the covering metal. It is the thin layer part is plating metal. And the plated metal means the material. So here, the material spoon is plated metal and the thin layer is silver and it is plating metal. Always the plating metal is anode. During setup, in electroplating process, don't forget, always the anode can be, the plating metal can be considered as anode. The plated metal, the material is cathode, and the electrolyte must be salt containing the plating metal. Now, when you come to the choices, having this in your mind, which is the answer? Yes, is not used for a spoon made to electroplate a spoon made of iron with silver. Yes, Nigaruni. Which one of the following condition is not used? Yes. Yes. A. Using silver as anode. ያልኩትን ስሙ ነው ወይስ አልሰማችሁም? ይሆነ አኖዱም የሆነው plating metal. The cathode is the plated metal. The article, the material to be plated man. It is the cathode. And the electrolyte must be salt of
D.
The plating metal. Yes?
D.
Not true. A. Alazar.
D. D.
B. B.
Oh.
B. Okay? No D.
D. D.
A. A.
D.
No, Mr.
D.
A. D. No A. No. بس بدم.
D.
D. The answer is D. D ያለው ትክክል ነው። ሁላችሁ አሁን እዚህ ጋር plating ሜታላችን cover የምናደርገው በምንድን ነው? Your objective is what? The spoon is the plated metal, the article. cathode ነው ማለት ነው spoon. plating ሜታሉ ደግሞ thin layer silver ነው. It is anode. The electrolyte must be salt of the plating metal, salt of silver ነው ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ using silver as anode it is correct. Using the tray sign spoon no, the material act as cathode, yes. C. Using an electrolyte containing silver ions, yes it is. D is the answer. It is not correct setup, yes. Using an electrolyte containing iron 3 ion, it doesn't help you what? To plate this spoon using silver. The answer is D. ሶስቱን ነገር አስታውሱ። Anode is plating metal. Cathode is the plated metal, the article. Cup ሊሆን ይችላል, tray ሊሆን ይችላል, spoon ሊሆን ይችላል, whatever is it, the material, it is cathode. And the plating metal like silver, like gold, like zinc, እነኚህ ናቸው ማለት ነው። And the electrolyte must be salt containing the plating metal. እዚህ ጋር ሌላ ጥያቄ ልጠይቃችሁ። What about in galvanizing ብትባሉ? In galvanizing, identify the anode, the cathode, and the electrolyte? Who can answer this? In galvanizing. I hope you know the meaning of galvanizing is. Galvanizing means what? It is covering of metal using what? Covering of metal using zinc. Zinc. The main advantage of zinc is for galvanizing purposes. Galvanizing means covering metals, iron using what? Using zinc. So in galvanizing, the anode is what? It is zinc itself, is the plating metal. The cathode is what? Any metal, any material to be covered by using zinc. And the electrolyte must be salt containing zinc ions, +2 ions. Number 7. From among the given cells, which cell is primary weight? Already we discussed before, is primary weight. Harap, man mimelsin. Lanche cell, lead storage, cell used in mobile telephone, Daniel cells, E and D. Primary weight. Primary means use and throw. Weight means if the electrolyte is in solution form. It is Daniel cell. Daniel cell is primary weight. D is the answer. Number 8. Given the following reaction, the correct cell notation for this reaction. Again, cell notation, the setup is what? First write the anode. Single. Yes? Yes? ድምጽ ቀንሶ ለዚህ ለመልስ ለመመለስ ብቻው ነው ያ ድምጽ ቀንሱ ነው መልሱ ምንድነው anode መጀመሪያ the anode electrolyte double vertical line to represent salt bridge, then the electrolyte of cathode at the end cathode. From the equation የትኛው ነው anode የሚለውን ለማወቅ ምንድነው የምናደርገው which metal undergoes oxidation is for example take Mg from 0 state it's changed to what 2 + 2 oxidation. So Mg is what anode or cathode? Yes, Mg anode ነው cathode ነው የሚለውን ዲሳይድ ማድረግ እንችላለን which anode thank you anode ስለዚህ Mg በሚለው ነው የምንጀምረው ማለት ነው our answer it can be B either B or C አይደል A እና D automatically drop ማድረግ ትችላላችሁ because በዚንክ ስለሚጀምር so the answer either B or C ስለዚህ Mg/Mg +2 እያልን ስንሄድ then vertical line. What's the difference between B and C? Which is particularly the answer is what? C or B? The answer is B. B ያለኝ ማን ነው? B ያለኝ ሰው ልክ ነው። B ነው። ዚንክ +2 ዚንክ ልዩነቱ የሲ እና የቢ ምንድነው? መጨረሻ ላይ ያለው ነው። መጀመሪያ ኤሌክትሮላይቱ ነው የካቶዱ ኤሌክትሮላይት ነው መጀመሪያ መጻፍ ያለበት ሁሌም ዳርና ዳር ላይ ያሉት አኖድ እና ካቶድ ናቸው to the left hand we have anode and to the right extreme we have cathode ስለዚህ the answer is B ነው ማለት ነው clear ግልጽ ነው እሺ number 9 what will be deposited as the cathode by electrolysis of fused lead bromide in the previous case we have seen the electrolysis of brine solution sodium chloride aqueous ማለት ነው aqueous means there is water in solution form in case of solution there are competent ions for discharging process but here it is fused or it is molten means we don't have water component ስለዚህ እዚህ ጋር በጣም ቀላል ነው ፖዚቲቭ ሁሌም ካቶድ ጋር ኔጌቲቭ ሁሌም አኖድ ጋር ይሄዳል it is very simple clear ስለዚህ መልሱ ምንድነው in lead bromide which will deposited at cathode ነው የሚለው ጥያቄ lead bromide ካታዮኑና አናዮኑን መለየት ነው it decomposes to what when electrical energy passes through lead bromide fused molten state it decomposes to Pb+2 and Br- አይደል ስለዚህ lead +2 ወዴት ይሄዳል ወደ cathode to get 2 electron for discharging process and bromide ion should move towards what towards anode to remove its charge ስለዚህ cathode ጋር የሚሄደው lead ስለሆነ lead get deposited is the answer is C lead metal get deposited at cathode ግልጽ ነው ጥያቄ ካላችሁ ጠይቁኝ if you have any question please ዝም ካላችሁ እኔ እንደገባችሁ ነው if you have any question እሺ number 10 the electrolyte in Lange cell or zinc carbon dioxide it is the same as Lange is the name of the inventor is zinc carbon dioxide for the first time invented by the French scientist known as Lange zinc carbon the ordinary dry cell it is Lange cell or zinc carbon dioxide ስለዚህ ይሄ electrolyte አለው this is simple it is paste ammonium chloride manganese dioxide and carbon መልሱ C okay when you come to question number 11 consider the standard voltaic or galvanic cell it is given Fe+2 versus Au3+. Which answer identifies the cathode and gives E of reduction for the cell? አሁን እንዴት ነው የምንለየው ነው ጥያቄ ይሄን ባለፈው ማየት ነው ሁሉ ጊዜም እንደ አኖድ የምናስበው ማንን ነው ተባብለናል reduction potential value least የሆነው the least reduction potential tells you what it is the most oxidized substance so it acts as anode relatively the higher positive reduction potential it can be negative or positive by any sign ሁሌም ትንሽ የሆነውና ትልቅ የሆነው ብለን ነው ትንሹ ሁሌም አንድ ነው ትልቁ ሪላቲቭሊ ሁሌም ካቶድ ስለዚህ እንደዚህ ብለን መስራት ነው E of cell-ን ካልኩሌት ማድረግ ትችላላችሁ እስቲ ካቶድ የሚለውን ብቻ ለዩ ካልኩሌሽኑን ስሩት ራሳችሁ it's simple in this which answer identifies the cathode Au3+2 Au positive 1.5 volt E reduction of Fe2+2 Fe please እዚህ ጋር እንዳትሸወዱ oxidation ነው reduction ነው የሚለውን አንድ አሁን እዚህ ጋር it is reduction potential value it is from +3 to 0 and from +2 to 0 so in both cases it is reduction is given ግን አንዳንዴ oxidation ከሆነ reverse ማድረግ ይጠበቅብናል እንዳረሱ የሰማችሁ ነው compare ለማድረግ make sure whether both half reaction cells are reduction potential values sometimes we may have reduction potential cell instead of reduction potential oxidation value may be given is oxidation value means instead of Fe2 plus to Fe Fe2 Fe plus 2 የሚል ሊሰጥ ይችላል በሱ ጊዜ አይደለም አሁን እኔ የምላችሁ the least value always it is anode ያልኳችሁና the higher value always it is cathode የምላችሁ መቼ ነው ሁሌም በሪደክሽን ፖቴንሻል ስትጽፉት ነው እቺን እንዳደረሱ now here for time being already the given value is reduction why it is reduction from +3 to 0 why it is reduction from +2 to 0 በዚህ ጊዜ አሁን አወዳደረን አኖድና ካቶዱን ማወቅ ይቻላል እዚህ ጋር አሁን ካቶዳችን ማን ነው አኖዳችን ማን ነው አይረን ነው ማለት ነው አኖዳችን ሊስት ስለሆነ ካቶዳችን ደግሞ ማን ነው ጎልድ ነው ማለት ነው ትልቅ ፖዚቲቭ ቫልዩ ስላለው 1.5 ስለሆነ ስለዚህ መልሱ which one is cathode ለሚለው Au ነው ማለት ነው Au ሆኖ ቫልዩን ግን ካልኩሌት ማድረግ ትችላላችሁ I think the answer is B Au 1.06 by using the formula you can calculate A of cell is equal to A of reduction at cathode minus A of reduction at anode በሚለው ማለት ነው Clear? ግልጽ ነው? እሺ next which one of the following statement is not correct about voltage cell? እቺን እንጨርሳለን እቺን አይተን which one of the following statement is not correct about voltage cell? The anode is negative, the cathode is positive, oxidation takes place at positively charged electrode, redox reaction produces electricity in the cylinder. Which is not true about voltage cell? አሁን ምርጫውን ሳናይ እንነጋገር። voltage cell ላይ አኖዱ ምንድነው? ይቀያየራሉ ሳይናቸው። anode in voltage cell it is negative, cathode it is positively charged electrode. But oxidation and reduction is the same. Electrolytic cell ላይ ምንድነው? anode ላይ oxidation ነው፣ cathode ላይ reduction ነው። እዚህም ስንመጣ anode ላይ oxidation ነው፣ cathode ላይ reduction ነው. It is the same. But sign wise it is different. Yes? Anode is positive in electrolytic, whereas in voltage it is negative. Cathode in electrolytic it is negative, but in galvanic it is positive. በዚህ መሰረት መልሱ ምን ይሆናል? The answer is the anode is negative, yes. Cathode is positive, yes. Oxidation takes place at positively charged electrode. True or false? No, sir. Oxidation takes place at positively charged. False. Oxidation takes place at anode. Anode ደግሞ ምንድነው? Negative electrode. The answer is C. D, it is correct. Redox reaction produces electricity because the purpose of this voltage cell is to produce electricity. For today this is enough. ጥያቄ ካላችሁ የሚቀጥለውን ደግሞ ወርክሺፕ ሰኞ ዕለት እንሰራዋለን። ካልኩሌሽንም ስላለው እሱ ሰኞ እንሰራለን። if you have any question ጥያቄ ካላችሁ ከሌላችሁ ጨርሻለሁ። thank you very much. bye bye.
አይሰማም።
እሺ ኔትወርክ ሰሞኑን እያስቸገረ ነው ይሄው this is worksheet yes grade 12 worksheet. If you have any difficulty before starting solving this problem, if you have any difficulty ያልገባችሁ ነገር ካለ አሁን ለፈተና የሚረዳችሁ ካላችሁ I will give you a chance before starting the class. Yes. ያቄ የላችሁ? Okay. We will start. The first one is for the cell given by the standard reduction potential. The values are given here 0.8 and negative 0.76. Based on the reduction potential value, the dash electrode where the reduction will occur and it is called dash itself. እዚህ ጋር ማወቅ ያለብን ነገር ምንድነው? It is very important point is what? Always when the standard reduction potential values are given, compare the numerical value. Then how can you identify the anode and cathode? The one which is the least reduction potential value from the given to reduction potential value, it is what? It is anode. This is by convention we know this, yes. So which one has the least reduction potential? Negative 0.76 volts, it is less than what? 0.8. Therefore, which electrode has this negative 0. Respectively, it is given as 0.8 for silver reduction and negative 0.76 is for zinc 2+. So from this, you can understand what? Zinc from this is what? Iman, what is it? Zinc. Is it anode or cathode? Hermes. Yes?
مستني هي القباية هي units.
አልሽ ትንሹ ቫልዩ ማለት ነው ሪደክሽን ፖቴንሻል ሊስት ሪደክሽን ፖቴንሻል ማለት ምን ማለት ነው አኖር ነው ማለት the least reduction potential and the one with the highest reduction potential is what it is cathode. So negative 0.76 is for what? For zinc. 0.8 is for what? For Ag plus. Reduction potential value means what? From Ag plus by gaining one electron it converted to Ag ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ የዚህ ቫልዩ ስንት ነው? 0.8 volt which is plus ያኛው ደግሞ ምንድነው የሚለው zinc always by convention what is given reduction potential is given zinc to plus by gaining 2 electrons changed it to what to zinc ስለዚህ ይሄ ስንት ነው negative 0.76 volt ይሄ ማለት ስለዚህ ትንሽ ያለው ማን ነው zinc what does it mean here zinc acts as what as anode clear and the one with higher reduction potential is what it is cathode እዚህ ላይ ጥያቄ ያላችሁ any question on this
የለም
question
አይ የለም
ስለዚህ ትንሽ ቫልዩ ያለው ሪደክሽን ከሁለቱ አወዳደረን ትንሹ የማን ነው ማለት ነው የአኖድ ትልቁ ደግሞ by any value it can be negative or positive just compare the two values ስለዚህ 0.76 negative it is anode and the larger value is 0.8 which is positive is cathode now we know that under cathode or anode reduction is takes place it says what reduction the common feature of both electrochemical cells which means electrolytic and galvanic cell in both case oxidation is going on at what anode or cathode in both cells oxidation is takes place at anode and reduction takes place at cathode don't forget for both cells but the key point or you should remind one important point the charge of anode and cathode is opposite yes? The charge of anode and cathode it is opposite anode is positive in electrolytic cell whereas cathode is what it is negative in electrolytic cell when it comes to galvanic cell or voltaic cell it is the reverse anode is negative and cathode is positive ግን በተርም ደረጃ ስንወስድ in both cells at anode oxidation is takes place but particularly positively charged in electrolytic cell and particularly at negatively charged electrode in galvanic cell ለዚህ እዚህ ጋር ምን ይላል reduction happen የሚያደርገው ማጋ ነው reduction is at cathode obviously yes? Therefore the answer will be what it is Hermes what is the answer A is the answer because silver cathode የሚለው መልስ ገብታችኋል እሺ number 2 okay number 2 what is E value for the following balance reaction by the way ለቅድሙ ለዚህኛው cell notation ጻፉ ብትባሉ እንዴት ነው yes how can you write cell notation we know the pattern or the form is first anode electrolyte it is double vertical line to represent what salt bridge the cathode electrolyte and it is cathode ስለዚህ ምን ብለን እንጽፋለን ማለት ነው ማንም ነገር who can answer this how can you write cell notation for number 1 tell me please Mokro yes already we identify zinc is anode the solid and silver solid is what it is cathode then it becomes what the ions are what Ag plus and zinc 2 plus
Ag double መስመር ግን ከዛለ zinc
yes tell me Iman
Ag ያደርገን ከዛለ double መስመር ግን zinc
no first anode I told you first anode first is anode
zinc ከዛ double ከዛ
zinc መጀመሪያ
ከዛ double መስመር ከዛ silver
zinc plus 2 double Ag plus single line and Ag ገብታችሁ this is cell notation from this one can easily identify which is anode and which is cathode zinc is anode whereas Ag is cathode የሚለው ማወቅ እንችላለን ማለት ነው without it is cell notation means what it is a systematic designation of what? Voltaic cells without using diagrams. We don't have here diagram, but we can identify which one is anode and which one is cathode from this cell. Okay, number 2. What is E value for the following equations? Here we have formulas. Did you remember the formula? E of cell is given by E naught of the cell minus 0.0592 over n times log what? Log K or log Q. Yes? What is log K means? Or log Q you can use. Log K is given by log, it is the equilibrium expression, yes? The equilibrium constant expression. How can you write the equilibrium expression? It is what? Okay. Log Q. Log K or log Q? It is the concentration of product over the concentration of reactants, just like writing equilibrium expression. Now, from this equation, which one is reactant and which one is product? Have you seen the equation? Zinc solid plus lead 2 plus, it gives zinc 2 plus and lead. Which one is product and which one is reactant? The ions are what? Pb plus 2 and zinc plus 2. Yes? Tell me please. Product means in the right hand side is always for ions, yes? Don't consider the metals. Here zinc 2 plus is what? It is product, and lead 2 plus is what? It is reactant. If the concentration is given. Reactant 2, lead 2 plus, pp plus 2, and zinc, what? It is product. እዚህ ጋር ተሰጥቷል እዚህ ጋር እንትኑ ይሄ ኔጌቲቭ ኦኬ ምርጫው ነው ኦኬ this one is just without using this formula we can solve it አሁን የሰጠሁት ፎርሙላ ነው ለየትኛው ነው ለዚህኛው ነው or this one is for number 6 is for number 6 have you seen here the concentration number 6 የፕሮዳክት እና የሪአክታንቱ ተሰጥቷል እዚህ ሁለተኛ ላይ ግን አልተሰጠም just we can use the formula በየትኛው መንገድ ነው የምንሰራው A of cell is equal to what A of cell is equal to E naught of reduction at cathode minus E naught of reduction at what at anode ይሄንን ነው የምንጠቀመው ለምን concentration ስላልተሰጠን ማለት ነው clear here already the reduction potential is given zinc 2 plus 2 zinc this is the value lead 2 plus 2 lead it is this now but the question is what which one is the reduction potential at anode which one is reduction potential at cathode ማንም ይነግረኝ ይሄ መለየት ያስፈልጋል to apply the formula is reduction at cathode minus E naught of reduction at anode which one is anode which one is cathode first tell me please yes
zinc anode ነው
zinc anode እሺ በምን ዴታ ወቅ what is your evidence you are right
ትንሹ ከሁለቱ ትንሹ ስለሆነ
thank you very much excellent you are right the least value is what it is anode ነው ማለት ነው the least value is anode ግን equation already ነግረናል አሁን equation ባይሰጠንም from this information we can identify yes the least value is anode and the relatively the highest value or higher value is it is cathode but here equation is given zinc to what zinc 2 plus it is oxidation at anode lead 2 plus to what to lead from plus 2 to 0 means what it is reduction it is cathode ስለዚህ ሁለት መንገድ አለን ማለት ነው equation ባይሰጠን በቫልዩ መለየት እንችላለን አንድ ሁለት from the equation we can identify ስለዚህ ምን እናደርጋለን ማለት ነው already reduction potential at cathode minus at anode reduction potential at cathode is negative 0.126 negative 0.16 minus reduction potential at anode no አይደለ ፎርሙ reduction potential at anode is 0.76 minus 0.76 minus ምን ይሆናል ፕላስ ይሆናል ስለዚህ መቀነስ ማለት ነው እንት ይመጣል 0.76 minus 0.126 30 minus 6 7 this is 5 minus 2 3 ይሄ ደግሞ ስንት ይሆናል 7 minus 1 it is 6
B
0.637 volt the answer will be
B
B ይሆናል ግልጽ ነው clear እሺ number 3 the type of based on number 2 የቅድሙን መጣበታለን concentration ይሰጠው number 6 ነው እንሰራው number 3 the type of cell reaction in the above question number አሁን ቅድም የሰራነው is it spontaneous non spontaneous is it at equilibrium or cannot be predicted እንዴት ነው የምንመልሰው already we know the values we have got the answer it is A of cell is positive 0.637 by using this value you can answer number 3 yes ነገሩኛ እሺ A of cell is positive means what በቃ ሌላ ምን yes it is positive implies what positive ነው ለገኘ ነው 0.367 it is positive it is A is answer is spontaneous እዚህ ጋር እንዳትረሱ for galvanic cell always means the real case sometimes the equation may be reversed yes but the real voltaic cell always A of cell value must be positive which implies it is spontaneous yes? The basic difference between electrolytic cell and galvanic cell is what electrolytic cell is non-spontaneous yes? It needs continuous supply of energy it needs external sources as energy power is but when you come to in galvanic cell or voltaic cell already once the chemical reaction happen always it can deliver until the chemical reaction has completed it can deliver what electrical energy without any external influence that is why it is spontaneous to be spontaneous A of cell must be it is positive ግን አንዳንዴ A of cell negative ይሆናል it doesn't mean it is wrong yes ኔጌቲቭ ነው ማለት ምን ማለት ነው ዳይሬክሽኑ ትክክል አይደለም ማለት ነው ኔጌቲቭ እና ፖዚቲቭ ተርሚናሉ ተቀያይሯል ማለት ነው so as soon as when practically to construct galvanic cell when A of cell value is negative immediately you have to reverse cathode and anode why because A of cell always for galvanic cell must be positive and it is spontaneous ግልጽ ነው clear እሺ ስለዚህ ፖዚቲቭ ነው ከሰራ ነው ተነስተን ማለት ግን አንዳንድ ላይ ኔጌቲቭ ተደርጎ የሚመጣ ውጤት ከመጣ መልሳችሁ ምን ይሆናል ነን ስፖንታኒየስ እንላለን ያ ግን ኮንክሉዥኑ ምንድነው ማለት ነው እንትኖቹ አኖዱና ካቶዱ ስዊች ማድረግ ያስፈልጋል okay the next one is given the electrochemical reaction shown if the standard reduction potential is this and this what is the value of A of cell ይላል ይሄውን ከቅድሙ የሚለየው ምንድነው ኢኩዌሽን ስላልተሰጠን is it clear the difference between number 2 and number 4 in number 2 equation is given whereas in number 4 equation the balanced chemical equation is not given this is only different ስለዚህ እኛ ቀድም ባልነው ኮንሰፕት ኢኩዌሽኑን መጻፍ እንችላለን ማለት electrochemical reduction potential value is given from Ag plus to Ag 0.8 from copper to plus to copper it is 0.34 volt. What is E of cell? Just you can apply this, yes, E of cell, E of reduction at cathode minus E of reduction at anode. But which one is anode, which one is cathode without balanced equation? From the given information, how can you identify? Yes? መልሶ
እንደ በፊቱ አይደለም ሚስተር ትንሹ አንድ ይሆናል
በቃ ሌሎቹ እንዲመልሱ ነበር ቅድም አንቺ እንዳልሽው ትንሹ ቫልዩ ምንድነው አኖር ትልቁ ካቶር ነው የቅድሙ ኢኩዌሽን ተሰጥቷል ይሄ ቢሰጥም ባይሰጥም መስራት እንችላለን ማለት you have any difficulty on this መስራት ነው ካቶድ ማይነስ አኖድ ካቶዳችን ማን ነው ትልቅ ቫልዩ ያለው ሲልቨር ነው ማለት ነው አኖዳችን ምንድነው ኮፐር ነው ትንሽ ስላለው ስለዚህ Ag plus both are reductions ግን አንዳንድ ጊዜ ምን ሊሰጥ ይችላል ባለፈው የተናላል እንዴ ኦክሲዴሽን ሊሰጥ ይችላል ኢኩዌሽኑ ላይ ኮፐር to plus ከተሰጠ we have to reverse this or reduction potential value when you reverse the equation the sign must be it is the reverse of the given is positive ከተሰጠ minus ከተሰጠ plus እናደርጋለን እዚህ ጋር ግን already the two half reactions are what both are reduction so without converting the equation directly you can solve E of cell is equal to E naught reduction at cathode minus E naught of reduction at anode ስለዚህ ምን እናደርጋለን E of cell E of reduction at cathode ካቶዳችን ማን ነው ሲልቨር it is 0.8 volt minus that one is 0.34 and the result will be መቀነስ ነው ማለት ነው ስንት ይመጣል 0.46 yes 0.8 minus 0.34 እቺ 0 ነች 14 this is 7 yes 0.46 volt Dani is it spontaneous or non spontaneous መልስ Is it spontaneous or non-spontaneous? Hermes? Tembit? Blaine Mokrust. Is it spontaneous or non-spontaneous? This say. Yes? It is. Iman? Yes.
Spontaneous.
Spontaneous because it is positive. It is positive. Excellent.
Excellent.
Number 5. Using the table of standard reduction potential. Using the standard reduction potential, which is the strongest reducing agent? From the reduction potential from the table. Which one is the strongest reducing agent? The strongest reducing agent means is it best oxidized substance or best reduced substance? Yes, please. Strongest reducing agent means what does it mean? Reducing agents are what? They are oxidized substance or reduced substance?
Oxidized substance.
They are. Yes. Reducing agent. You know this. Reducing agents are best oxidized substance. Oxidized substance by nature, they are what? Substance or metals. They can easily or they have a capability of releasing their electron easily. So the answer will, it is, you can check the table, it is C, potassium. Potassium is the most active metal from these choices. The most active metal means what? It is best or strong reducing agent. You can refer the table. Number 6. Here you can use these formulas. Number 6, የቅድሙን ፎርሙላ የምትጠቀሙት E naught of cell of the given minus 0.0592 over n log K. Log K means product over the concentration of reactant. ስለዚህ እንዴት ነው የምንሰራው? E naught cell is equal to E naught already it is given for this. Got it. E for the following reaction is 1.1 volt. When the concentration of 2 plus 1 mole, the concentration of zinc is 0.05. Means what? The concentration. ማስገባት one is one. Good afternoon, students. ይሰማል? ሄሎ እንዴት ናችሁ?
ይሰማል።
እሺ በጣም ብዙ ናችሁ ዛሬ 3 ናችሁ። በስታችኋል። እሺ Okay, here our topic is from grade 11 as a revision, particularly on how to calculate the half-life. Half-life Number 1, the half-life for a first-order reaction is 32 seconds. What was the original concentration if after 2 minutes the reactant concentration is 0.062? And then it is first order. Half-life for first order is given by Gabriela. Half-life can be calculated as what? The formula is, yes, 0.0 yes, 693 over Kerala permanent. 0.693 over K. Okay, the integrated equation, integrated equation for first order. Integrated equation for first order. How can you calculate?
Ln of 80.
Yes, ln of A naught over A is equal to KT. Yes, it is KT. Ln A naught over A is equal to KT. አሁን እዚህ ጋር this T can be T half. እቺ T half የምትሆነው መቼ ነው? If A naught is half of A naught, because as you know, half-life means what? It is the time required to consume half of what? The initial concentration. እቺኛዋ ያው ምንድነች? on integrated equation that is anything. It can be half-life or different from half-life. ስለዚህ ይሄንን እንጠቀማለን ማለት ነው። A naught over A, where A naught means what? The original, the initial concentration. A means it is concentration at any time. It can be at half-life, it can be at any time. አሁን እዚህ ጋር እቺ half-life ከሆነች እቺኛው ምን ትሆናለች? half ትሆናለች። This will be 1 over ln of half ይሆናል ማለት ነው። እሺ እዚህ ጋር ስንመጣ the half-life for a first order reaction is 32. Half-life, how much is it? It is 32 seconds. Is 32 seconds. What was the original concentration? You are asked A naught. If after 2 minutes the reactant concentration is 0.062. አሁን ከዚች half-life ምንን አገኛለሁ ማለት ነው? K አገኛለሁ። 32 seconds is equal to 0.693 over K. From this, K is equal to 0.693 over 32 አደርጋለሁ ማለት ነው። K አገኛለሁ እቺን by criss cross አድርጌ K times this 1 times 0.693 to get K divided both side by 32. እሺ ካልኩሌተር ልጠቀም። ስንት ይመጣል? ቼክ አድርጉት። if you have calculator 0.693 divided by 32 ስንት መጣልኝ? ይሄ 0.0216 ምናምን ይላል። 17 this is K value. This is K value. አሁን እቺን K ይዤ እመጣለሁ። እዚህ ጋር እመጣለሁ። ልባት እዚህ ጋር እመጣለሁ። ከዛም በኋላ እዚህ ጋር ምን ተሰጥቶኛል? 2 minutes ተሰጥቶኛል። 2 minutes means this time is 2 minutes means this time, and the reactant concentration is 0.062 at what? At the time is 2 minutes. ስለዚህ ወደዚህኛው ስመጣ ln A naught over A is equal to KT. አሁን እዚህ ጋር ምን አደርጋለሁ? ln A naught ነው የተጠየቅኩት over, but what is the concentration of A at this situation? It is 0.062 ተሰጥቶኛል። 0.062 is equal to K አግኝቻለሁ አይደል? K how much is it? It is 0.0217. 0.0217 times T is what? T is 2 minutes. It must be what? In second. 2 minutes ማለት ስንት ነው? It is 120 seconds. እዛ እዚህ ጋር A ኖትን ማግኘት ይችላል። እዛ ምን አደርጋለሁ? 0. 0.0217 times 120 እቺ ሰባዛ ስንት መጣች 2.604 ln a not 0.06 ከዛ ln እና log ሪሌሽኑ እንዴት ነው yes did you remember the relationship what's the relation between ln and log ማንም ይነግረኝ what's the relation between the two yes ሽላን ማለት ምንድነው ቤዙ e ነው አይደል ሎግ ሆኖ ቤዙ e ማለት ነው ስለዚህ e ደግሞ ማለት ስንት ነች e means
2.71
ስለዚህ hም በዚህ ያደርጋለሁ ማለት ነው a not 0.062 is equal to the 2.72 the power of 2.604 2.72 yes Iman yes አልሰማሁሽም 2.72 the power of okay ቺኛው a not over this 2. ቤዙ 2.72 the power of አሁን ልክ ነው 2.72 the power of 2.604 ስንት ይመጣል ይሄ a not over 0.062 is equal to ይሄ 13.54 ይመጣል ከዛ ይሄን በስንት አበዛለሁ ሲባዛ 0.062 the answer is 0. a not will be 0.84 the answer is what it is a clear
ሚስተር
ገብቶቻል
አይ ቆይ ሚስተር እዚህ ጋር ጥያቄ አለኝ አንዴ ወደ ፎርዋርድ
yes
አንድ ወደ ኋላ መልሰው ይሰራ ነው
ድምጽ ሲቆራረጠ የቱ ጋር አሁን half life
ስንሰራ አይ half life-ን እዚህ ጋር ሳይሆን ላን ኤኖት ስንሰራ መልሰው ወደ ቅድም
ምንም አልሰማሁሽ ኤን ስፈልግ
ላን አይለም ላን ኤኖትን
ኤን
መልሰው ወደ ቅድሙ ሚስተር
እሱን ደግሜ ነው
አንዴ ደግሜ ነው
እዚህኛው እሺ አሁን ከhalf life ምን ላይ ኬን አገኘው አይደል እንዴ ይሄ ግልጽ ነው ክሊር ኬ ያገኘን half life ማለት 0.693 over k half life already I have ከዛ ኬን ስንት አገኘው 0.0217 ይሄ ግልጽ ነው here the integrated equation for first order is this ln a naught over a is equal to kt clear ነው ይሄን ይዤ መጣው እዚህ ጋር ስመጣ ln a naught over a ማለት ምን ማለት ነው any concentration ማለት ነው which is different from half life ስለዚህ ታይሙ 2 ሲሆን ስንት ነው ተባብለናል ኮንሰንትሬሽኑ 0.062 that is why here I used 0.062 the question is what is the initial concentration of the ስለዚህ ln a naught over 0.062 is equal to kt k 0.0217 አለን ያችን ደግሞ ስንት ነው 2 minute 2 minute means it is 120 second በሰከንድ ነው ያለበት ከዛ ይሄን ሳባዛ 2.604 አገኘ ln a naught over this ln ማለት ምን ማለት ነው ቤዙ e ነው ማለት ነው e ደግሞ ማለት ስንት ነች 2.72 ልክ እንደ ሎግ ላይ ሲቀየር የሎግም ሪሌሽን አለው 2.3014 you can check there is a relation between lan and log ግን እዚህ ጋር lan ቤዙ e ስለሆነ e the power of this is equal to this አደርጋለሁ ማለት ለዚህ e ማለት ስንት ነች 2.72 the power of 2.604 e the power of this is equal to a naught over 0.062 ይሆናል እቺን ስሰራት ስንት አገኘው 13.54 a naught over 0.062 is equal to 13.54 this is over 1 a naught times 1 a naught this times this it is 0.84 molar the answer is what it is a ግልጽ ነው clear
አዎ
next question the second one is the decomposition of dimethyl ether at 504 degrees Celsius is first order with half life by the way ይሄ የሎግ ሪሌሽን አለ አሁን ሪሌሽኑ ረስቼ ነው 2.304 check it በዛም ወደ ሎግ መቀየር ይቻላል ይላንም you can in both cases the answer is the same check አድርጉት the relation between lan and log I think 2.304 times log no check አድርጉት በሱም anyhow you will get the same answer in both cases or directly you can use lan here the base is e means 2.7 በሁለቱም ይቻላል ይቀድሙ number 2 the decomposition of dimethyl ether at 504 degrees Celsius is first order with half life of this what fraction of an initial amount of dimethyl ether remains after 4710 seconds ምን ማለት ነው what does it mean who can explain the concept first it is first order እንዴ ነው ምንሰራው what are the given quantities here the decomposition of dimethyl ether at 504 degrees Celsius don't worry about the degree Celsius ይሄ ምንም አያስፈልገንም ዝም ብሎ ለማሳሳት ነው አንጠቀምበት because in our formula there is no temperature first order with half life 1570 half life is given means indirectly you have what you have k values always don't forget this k ተሰጥቶኛል ማለት ነው k ከዚህ ማግኘት እችላለሁ ጥያቄው ምንድነው what fraction of an initial amount of dimethyl ether remains after 4710 seconds ስለዚህ እንደ ቅድሙ half life 0.693 over k half life ስንት ነች it is 1570 second 1570 ኩሊዮናል 0.693 over k ስለዚህ ይሄ ለ1570 ማካፈል አይደል ኦኬ 0.693 divided by 1570 ስንት ይመጣል እዚህ ጋር k is equal to from this 0.00 ማለት ስንት ነው 1 2 3 2 3 4 4.4 ቼክ አድርጉት times 10 the power of -4 ይሄን እናገኛለን ከዛ lan a naught over a is equal to kt k ያለኛው k እቺ ነች t ያለኝ because ምን ተብሏል what fraction of an initial amount of dimethyl remains after this second 4710 ስለዚህ lan a naught over a is equal to time 4710 ሲባዛ 4.4 times 10 raised to -4 ስንት ይመጣል ሲባዛ 4 ይባዛ 4710 2.07 ይመጣል a ሲባዛ lan a naught over a እሺ ልክ እንደ ቅድሞችን በቱ አባዛታለሁ ማለት ነው እቺ ኖት የላትም a naught over a is equal to ስንት ነው የተባባልነው ቅድም 2.72 አይደል 2.72 the power of 2.07. 2.72 the power of 2.07 7.93 ምናምን almost 8 a naught over a is equal to 8 እሺ አሁን ምን ማለት ነው ምርጫው ላይ እንምጣ the question is what fraction of an initial amount of dimethyl ether remains after 4710 remain means what is it a naught or a remain the remaining amount means it is a አይደል እንዴ ስለዚህ ለa ነው ሶልቭ ማድረግ ክሪስ ክሮስ አድርጌ 8a is equal to a naught therefore over 8 the final concentration after 4710 second will be it is 1 over 8 of what a naught ማለት ስለዚህ መልሴ ምን ይሆናል መልሳችን C is the answer right ግልጽ ነው በቃ ስለዚህ 1 over 8 ነው የሚቀረን ማለት ነው እንደዚህ አድርገን እንሰራዋለን ጥያቄ ካላችሁ እዚህ ላይ any question if you have እሺ ጥያቄ ከሌለ ነምበር 3 ለራሳችሁ ስሩ the decomposition of carbon disulfide to carbon mono this is what is the half life of this reaction it is simple አይደል number 3 እስቲ ስሩ ስንት ይመጣል I'll give you 2 minutes ወይም ጥያቄውን እንድንጨርሰው ዝም ብላችሁ ስክሪንሾት አድርጉትና በኋላ ተሰሩታላችሁ half life ነው ምንም እንትን የለው አይደለም the decomposition of carbon disulfide to carbon monosulfide and sulfur is first order k already it is given what is the half life it is very simple
E
b ነው የሚመጣው b ኢማን b ነልሽ
I E
ነው እሺ check it anyhow 0.693 over k መስራት ነው እሺ next number 4 given this reaction is ድምጽ ምንድነው ኦኬ እሺ the next one is number 4 this equation is given a plus 3b it gives 2c plus d this reaction is first order with respect to reactant a first order and second order with reactant 2 b if the concentration of a is doubled and the concentration of b is halved the rate of the reaction would dash by a factor of dash yes this reaction is first order with a and second order with what with b if a is doubled b is halved the reaction would dash by a factor of dash what is the new change ማለት ነው on rate now we can write the rate law yes rate for this will be k concentration of a this is the rate law with respect to b second order with respect to a it is first order now what is the new change when a is what doubled twice እናርገው ይሄ twice of a እዚህ ጋር ካለች b is what b is half ሳረገው ምን ይሆናል ማለት ነው second order ስለሆነ 1 over 4 ይሆናል አይደል it is 1 over 4 of b ይሆናል ማለት ነው half ሳረገው ስለዚህ h2 እና h4 half ይሆናል therefore the new expression will be half of k ab ይሆናል ማለት so it is decreased by 2 b ነው ያልከኝ yes Correct. B is the answer. It decreased by 2, or in other words, it means reduced by half. ግልጽ ነው ጥያቄ? እሺ ከሌለ ወደ 5 እንሄዳለን። What would be the correct unit of K for the rate losses? What is the unit of K? Sirut. What is the unit of K for the rate law given by this equation? Gabriela መልሽስቲ በእምነት ቢኒያም ናኦሚ መልሱ እስቲ What would be the correct unit of K? እሺ የሰራ ማንኛውም ሰው rate KAB square ይላል K. What is the unit of concentration? Molarity አይደል እንዴ? M ማለት ነው። የዚህስ molar square together ምን ይሆናል? molar cubed አይደል እንዴ? ለዚህ አንድ molar ለዚህ molar square. It is molar cubed. You are asked for what? For the unit of K. K constant. Rate. What is the unit of rate? Always the unit of rate is what? Whatever the overall order for the given equation is, always the unit of rate is constant. It is the unit of rate is concentration per time ማለት አይደል? So it is molar per second ነው the unit of R. So here Km. ስለዚህ ምን ይሆናል? እቺ m ይሄንን ምን ታደርገዋለች? 2 ታደርገዋለች። Therefore K means what? From this ምን አለኝ ከቅድሙ ኤክስፕሬሽን ላይ from this I have 1 over second is equal to Km square አይደል? Km square. So K means divided by m square. ለዚህ ምን ይሆናል? K ማለት 1 over m square times second. But meter በሞላር አልተቀመጠም. We don't have here molar in all choices. We have liter because molarity means what? Molarity means it is mole per liter. ስለዚህ ምን ይሆናል? ይሄ ወደ ላይ ሳወጣው መጀመሪያ ምን ይሆናል? m raised to minus 2 times second raised to minus 1. Then molar means what? Mole per second. ስለዚህ mole per liter, sorry, mole per liter raised to minus 2 times second inverse. ስለዚህ ምን ትሆናለች? እቺ ማይነስ ስለሆነች እቺ ሊትር ወደ ላይ አትመጣም። ስለዚህ ሊትር ስኩዌር times mole raised to minus 2 times second raised to, this is a unit. ለዚህ መልሳችን ምን ይሆናል? ሊትር or L square mole raised to minus 2 times second inverse. The answer will be ምረጥ ውስጥ D. D or E? አልተሰማኝም። The answer is D አይደለም? ሊትር ስኩዌር ሞል ሬይዝ ቱ ማይነስ 2 ሰከንድ ኢንቨርስ። E ደግሞ ምንድነው ችግሩ? ሰከንድ ምንም እንትን የለውም። The answer will be is D. Clear? እሺ number 6. The bond angle of Cl2 is expected to be approximately what? Cl2. Now to predict the degree angle here, first you have to draw the Lewis structure. Cl2. How can you draw the Lewis structure? Cl2 structure መሳል መጀመሪያ ያስፈልጋል። Cl2. Here the electron configuration of chlorine is what? 287. Oxygen is 26 አለ እንዴ? ክሎሪን 17 ነው፣ ኦክሲጅን 8 ነው። Sorry, this is 26. Then we use only what? The valence electron. The first step in drawing Lewis structure is what, students? Calculating or solving the valence electron. Here in Cl2 there are 2 chlorines, for each we have 7. 2 times 7, 14, plus for a single oxygen we have 6. Together there are 20 electrons for drawing the Lewis structure. Here as usual the central atom is what? It is chlorine, oxygen, a single O, chlorine, chlorine. This is the skeletal structure. How many electrons are used here? A single layer represents 2 electrons. እዚህ ሁለት አራት ተጠቀምኩ ማለት ነው። ቶታሊ ስንት ነው ያለኝ? 20 ከ20 ላይ ስንት ቀንሳለሁ? 4 ስንት ቀረኝ? 16 ላይ now first satisfy the octet rule for what? For each terminal atom ለእያንዳንዱ ስንት ሰጣለሁ? 6 6 አይደል? 6 6 6 ሲደመር 6 12 ስንት ቀረኝ? 4 these 4 electrons should be given for what? For the central atom. So this is the structure of what? The structure of Cl2O. ስለዚህ ምን አይነት hybridization type ነው? Is it SCP, SCP2, SCP3 or SCP4? You can SCP3D, SCP3D2. Which is the correct hybridization for this? Yes? Tell me the hybridization type for Cl2O. Yes? ስንት ፔር አለን ማለት ነው እዚህ ጋር? Okay, on the central atom, how many bonding and how many lone pairs are there?
SP3D.
SP3D. SP3D. Why you said SP3D? SP3D ማለት ምን ማለት ነው? ስንት ፔር ኦፍ ኤሌክትሮኖች አሉ ማለት? 1 4 5. There are 5 pairs of electron. Don't confuse. ማን የመለሰልኝ? S central atom አይደለችም. SP3D means together there are 5 pairs of electrons. This is the meaning. Yes, this is the meaning. ለዚህ ምን ይሆናል? SP3 ብቻ ነው የሚሆነው. There are 4 pairs on the central atom. Around the central atom there are 2 bonding pairs. This is bonding pair and 2 bonding pairs and there are 2 lone pairs. ስለዚህ together there are 4 pairs of electrons. 4 pairs of electrons. 4 pair ደግሞ ማለት SP3 ነው hybridized. What is hybridization type ብትባሉ? It is SP3. SP3 ደግሞ ከሆነ አንግሉ ስንት ነው የሚሆነው? It is the angle is 109.5 ይሆናል ማለት ነው። 109.5 ነው። Clear? ግልጽ ነው? እሺ ነምበር 7 ጥያቄ ካላችሁ ጠይቁ። Number 7, unequal distribution of the shared pair of electrons between 2 atoms result in the formation of what? Unequal. This is the point. Between shared pair of electron, there may be what? Equal electron share distribution or there may be unequal electron share pair distribution. Based on the nature of this electron share pair distribution, we can decide whether it is polar or non-polar bonds. So there is unequal electron share pair distribution implies what? Polar or non-polar? A and D cannot be the answer. Polar. Unequal means it is polar. Instead of unequal, if there is equal electron shared pair distribution, it will be non-polar covalent bond. Number 8. Read it and what is the choice? The answer? The concept of that electron pairs located in the valence shell of an atom bonded to other atoms tend to stay as far apart as possible so as to minimize repulsion.
B.
B. B. It is valence shell electron pair repulsion theories, VSEPR theories, VSEPR. In order to electron should found around the central atom as far as possible in order to minimize what? Repulsion between. This is the valence shell electron pair repulsion theory. Just to remind you, what is the Heisenberg uncertainty principle? Aufbau principle, Pauli exclusion principle. Do you remember the principles? Who can state? Heisenberg. Any of the three, you can remind.
Heisenberg principle.
Heisenberg principle states that
በአንድ ፓርቲክል ፖዚሽኑን እና ሞሜንተሙ በአንድ ጊዜ ማወቅ አይቻልም። ፖዚሽኑን ካወቀን ሞሜንተሙን ማወቅ አንችልም።
Thank you very much. You are right. Heisenberg uncertainty principle means this, yes. What about Pauli exclusion? We cannot predict both position and momentum. Heisenberg uncertainty. Pauli exclusion principle.
ሁለት ኤሌክትሮኖች አንድ አይነት ስፒን ሊኖራቸው አይችልም።
ሁለት ኤሌክትሮኖች አንድ አይነት ስፒን ሊኖራቸው አይችልም። Not only spin. Two electrons cannot have, you are right, it is among the four sets one represents spin. ግን እሱ ብቻ አይደለም። Pauli principle states that what? No two electrons can have the four sets of quantum number values. አራቱም አንድ አይነት መሆን አይችሉም። አራቱም አንድ አይነት ናቸው ማለት ምን ማለት ነው? We are talking about a single electron. ስለዚህ at least የመጨረሻው እንትን ምንድነው? ስፒናቸው ይለያያል ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ this is the Pauli principle, Pauli exclusion principle. Aufbau principle stated what? In electron configuration, electrons first should feel what? The lower energy level before entering to the higher energy level. Aufbau principle. In writing the electron configuration for hydrogen, for example, hydrogen is 1. You cannot write like 1p1 is 2p1. አይቻልም። 1s ሳንሞላ p ጋር መሄድ አይቻልም። Or take helium for example. This is impossible. Helium is 2s. 1s1, 2s1. This is impossible, yes? Even though there are 2 electrons for helium, already you can give the electron, because the correct electron configuration of helium is what? It is 1s2. Don't, electrons cannot enter 2s before feeling 1s. So these two are wrong and the correct one is this. Okay, the elements which mostly show radioactivity. Which group of the periodic table mostly contain the radioactive elements?
Inner transition.
Inner transition, or in other words, inner transitions, are they D block, F block, P block, or S block? Inner transition means
D.
Inner transition. Yeah, F block. F no. Inner transition F no. Transition ሲሆን ደግሞ D ነው። So most of inner transition elements are radioactive. ግን ሌላ ቦታ የሉም ማለት አይደለም። ለምሳሌ representative ውስጥ ካርበን አለ፣ ናይትሮጅን አለ. But most radioactive elements they belongs to inner transition. But it doesn't mean only in inner transition. Most ስላለ ነው እንጂ representative ውስጥም አሉ like carbon and nitrogen. Okay. Application of the concept of VSEPR theory ቅድም ያልነው leads you to conclude that the shape of SO3 molecule is what? SO3 molecule ሰርተነው መናገር ነው አይደል? SO3 is it linear, is it triangular, pyramidal, square, pyramidal? ሰርቶ መናገር ይቻላል። did you remember? triangular plan አይደል? D ነው የሚሆነው። ቼክ አድርጉት። by drawing the Lewis structure you can decide. የሚከብደው አለ SO3 drawing the Lewis structure? You have any problem? ሌላውን ብንሰራ ይሻላል። Okay, number 11. From among representative elements, which group contains elements with 3 physical states? Solid, liquid, and gas ማለት ነው from among representative elements are what S and P block elements yes? Which group contains elements with 3 physical states ሶስቱንም የያዘ ግሩፕ የቱ ነው halogen noble gas chalcogen alkali metals yes it is halogen አይደል halogen ውስጥ ነው fluorine chlorine gas ናቸው bromine liquid ነው iodine solid ነው ሶስቱንም የያዘ halogen group sub which of the following angle correspond to sp2 hybridization sp2 ማለት ስንት ፔር አለ ማለት ነው 3 ስለዚህ አንግሉ ስንት ይሆናል b 120 excellent 120 example excellent like bf3 is best example is boron trifluoride is best example of sp2 hybridization with an angle 120 all the elements of group 5 of periodic table have electron configuration ending with what with p5 p4 p3 p2 p3 don't confused p5 አይሆንም አይደል p5 የማን ነው
halogens
የhalogens ነው because we have what for group 5 the configuration is ns2 np3 አይደል የዚህ የሁለቱ ድምር ነው 5 መሆን ያለበት right so the answer is p3 ሁሌም በሁለት ያንሳል which one of the following molecules has square planar molecular geometry ይሄንንም ስትራክቸሩን ሰርታችሁ ማወቅ ነው መስራት ትችላላችሁ I think the answer is C መሰለኝ ስሩት ሉዊስ ስትራክቸሩን መሳል anyhow square planar means what ስንት ፔር አለው 6 pair of electron ኖሮት 4 of them are what bonding pairs and 2 of them are lone pairs to be square planar I think C መሰለኝ ቼክ አድርጉ which one of the following ይሄን የሚያሟላ ማለት ነው the total number of electron pairs are 6 among the 6 4 of them are bonding and 2 are lone pairs the last one which one of the following hypothetical reaction forms dative bond dative means what it is coordinate አይደል which one equation shows the hypothetical D yes D ምን ማለት ነው dative አንዱ deficiency ኖሮት አንዱ at least lone pair ያለው ነው it is the answer is D for today this one is enough ጥያቄ ካላችሁ any question if you have ጥያቄ ከሌላችሁ ይበቃናል ቻው እሺ